The sort feature allows you to sort your records by one or more fields. So for example, I'm looking at Bob Appelman. If I sort everybody by their first name, does it just sort the first name column and not keep his last name and his social security number and everything else that's tied to Bob here together? It may not do it if you didn't design your database correctly. In other words, I got my top 6 design flaws, and they're right here. Excel will have trouble filtering and or sorting a poorly designed database, and these are the things you want to watch out for. First off, if you have different formatting within a column, in other words, all the data must be of the same format. So within a column, all the data down below has no format, so that works. And it's not like this is bold, that's underlined, that's italics, and this is bold. I mean, that's just a mess. It's going to have a hard time figuring out how to sort that. And then mixing text and values in the same columns. So for the first name column, I'm not going to type in Max and then down below have a bunch of numbers in the next cell, then down below that another name, and then a couple more numbers in the adjacent cells. For the first name column, it's all going to be text. And for the Social Security, it's all going to be numbers. It's not going to be a mix of one or the other. And then blank rows, if you go ahead and insert blank rows and break up your database, well, Excel's going to look at that and say, okay, I think the database is broken up. These are many different databases and not supposed to be seen as one. So you want to avoid that, otherwise you take your chances. And then border separation, use the formatting for borders, not drawing. So back to our database. You can use the drawing feature to draw borders, but if you do that, it's not going to work well when it comes to sorting and filtering your database. Excel may choke on that. So instead, as you recall in an earlier training video, to add borders to your cells, like for example here for my labels, I click and drag and select my labels, and the bottom border is a dark black border. So I can come up here on the Home tab to the font group, click on the border drop-down arrow, and there it is, thick bottom border. Select that, and there's my border. And then the fifth one, the column labels format, isn't a different format than the rest of the data. Well, here's the label format. It's all in bold as opposed to the data down below with no formatting being applied. So Excel can easily identify the labels because they're formatted differently than the rest of the data down below. And then don't add spaces in cells, use the alignment buttons. So let's go back here. Instead of me coming into, like, let's say the last name Burns and double clicking and adding a bunch of spaces because I want to nudge that name over and hit enter, Excel's not going to like that when it comes to filtering and or sorting. So instead, with it selected, come up here on the Home tab to the alignment group and use the alignment buttons to give it some spacing here, as it were. Or let me hit undo. You may want to try to use the indent features. Click on it, indents it a little bit. Doesn't align it right to the center, but gives it that illusion of adding some space there at the beginning of Burns. I'm going to go ahead and hit undo. So if you adhere to those database design flaws, or actually avoid them, then you should be doing pretty good when it comes to sorting your database. So if I want to sort by first name, and I've got Bob Appelman, let's see what happens when I sort everybody by first name to make sure that after I sort it by first name, that it keeps Bob's record together, which includes his last name, social security number, and everything else. So to do that, one of the ways that you can sort is by right-clicking within the column that you want to sort by and going down to Sort. And there you go. You can sort ascending A to Z, descending Z to A, condescending. No, I'm kidding. You can sort by cell color on top, font color on top, cell icon on top. I don't have any of those within my cells, so I'm not going to focus on that. Or you can do the custom sort. But to keep it simple, let's do A to Z, ascending. There we go. Now we have A for Ann, A, B, C, D. Okay, it sorted the first name, but did it keep everybody's record together? For like example Bob, is it still, hey, it's Appelman, and his social security number and everything else? So our database was designed correctly that Excel, when I sorted by first name, kept everybody together and didn't break up and just say, okay, we're just sorting the first name column and not keeping the rest of the record together. And then you can see over here the list has gotten shaken up because it's sorted by first name now. So if I want to go back to the way that I first entered the first person into my database, which was Max Klinger, he's number 1, then you can come over here and instead of right-clicking and going down to the sort options, ascending, descending, you can do that, or come up here on the Home tab to the editing group, and there's the sort and filter feature. Click on the drop-down arrow. There's the 3 options, smallest to largest, or largest to smallest, or custom sort. So if I do smallest to largest, we're back to where we started. Or you can come up here on the Data tab, and it's right there as well, sort and filter, A to Z, Z to A, and the sort, or the custom sort. So when I click on it, it tells me that right now it's sorting by the list column, And if I want to go ahead and change that, we can do it by the last name. And then you get the options to sort on values, cell color, font color, cell icon. We're going to do it by values. And we can do it descending Z to A, and then click Okie dokie. And there you go, by last name. Even though that I wasn't in the last name column, when I do the custom sort, as it were, it doesn't matter what column I'm in. And you can see it sorted, descending, Z's up at the top, all the way down to the A's at the very bottom. And then when I come back up here, select it, and I delete it, and click OK, it doesn't undo that sort, because what is it going to undo to? Well, Excel's not going to keep track of that. It's just that you deleted it. So if you want to go ahead and do another sort, in fact, let's do what's called a consecutive sort, meaning that I want to sort by the last name first and then by first name next. So I've got a couple of last names that are the same, Allen. So after it finds and it sorts it by last name and it gets the two Allens together, then I can say after you get duplicate names here in the last name field, then go ahead and come over here and sort it by first name. Let me show you. Come back up here, click on the sort button, and let's go ahead and click on the drop down arrow and do by last name first, and we'll do it ascending, and then we'll go ahead and add another level. So the first level is the most important. After it sorts it by last name, then let's go ahead, if it finds duplicates within the last name after it sorts it by last name, then let's go ahead and sort it by the first name, and let's do it Z to A descending. Go ahead and click Okie dokie, and there we go. Sorted last name, A to Z is ascending, so there's, well, I got two duplicates. They're up at the top. So within the two Allens, it comes over here, and then it sorts it descending by their first name. So let's see if it checks out. M comes before T, but since it's descending, it flipped it, so T comes before M. So there's descending after it finds duplicates, or after it sorts it by last name first. Let's see, I also have duplicate burns. So once it sorts it, and it's got two or more of the same last names, and it goes over to the first name column, and it says, okay, descending, so F comes before M, but it's again descending, so it flips it, so M comes before F. And to go back to the way it was, let's come over here, click in the cell. I can right click and go to sort, and let's do smallest to largest, and we're back to where we started. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.